This is about to be a fun video, everyone. So, I feel like I'm a little too far away from you. I feel very far. Yeah, I feel far. I'm gonna do my makeup on camera and chat with you guys, so I feel like I should be a little bit closer, just a smidge. Let me scooch you in. I'm struggling because I love the backdrop, I love the background, I love the framing, but I feel like you can't see anything I'm doing from this far away. Drink this all in for a second because I'm going to bring you guys closer. All right, everyone, time for a proper introduction. Greetings, internet, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're gonna do a little sit down chat, get ready with me for a date. I'm going on a first date tonight. My strategy for ensuring I don't feel nervous before a first date is just doing everything possible to distract myself right up until the date, so I don't even have time to stress. I think I've talked about that in a past video before. I just busy myself. So here I am filming a whole video about my makeup routine and such leading up to the date, so I don't have any time at all to sit around. The worst thing is if you get ready too early for a date and you're just sitting there stressing. But anyway, so I'm busying myself with talking to you guys. I don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth, but I know one thing. I will be doing my makeup. I will be sharing all of the products that I use on a daily basis. And I can't tell if this shirt looks funny. I definitely spilled coffee on my shirt earlier today. I look like an artist. I look like I would own a lot of paintbrushes. Anyway, I'm taking off my pimple patches. Oh, you know when a pimple is just like painful because it's fresh and new? That's what I'm dealing with right now, like right here. And it's right near my mouth, like where my mouth muscle moves and flexes when I talk. So it's just in the worst, most inconvenient location, obviously on the day of my first date. I actually met this guy that I'm going on this date with through a friend of a friend, which real ones know that is just my favorite way to meet people. I've talked about that on my Match Made podcast with my two friends where we talk about dating every single week. Comes out every Friday morning. On my podcast, I've talked about how I just love meeting people through friends of friends because unlike dating apps, you get someone to vet that person before you meet them. Like, you know that at least one person besides their mom thinks that they're great and thinks that they would be a good match for you. So when I was in Vegas this past weekend, one of my friends told me that she'd love for me to meet this guy because they go way back, and she essentially vetted him for me right then and there. The only downside of meeting someone through a friend of a friend is you run the risk of disappointing that friend that tried to set you up if you don't like the person, but whatever. I have a feeling that I will like this person. My gray hairs are running rampant right now. I have a hair appointment on Monday. Anyway, first up, concealer. So I'm gonna apply a couple, like a cocktail of concealers on my face right now. I really desperately need under eye concealer because I slept horribly last night. Like, have you ever had the experience when you're sleeping? And it's odd because you're definitely asleep and you realize this later that you were asleep, dreaming about being awake and about being stressed over the fact that you aren't sleeping. Like, you know what I mean? Is that like the weirdest, most niche dream? But like you're stressed out in your dream state over not getting like your 8 hours. I don't know if that's just me. I just get stressed. Anyway, I had a bad night's sleep last night over that. Like, I just kept waking up and my dark circles are a result of that. It's actually very sweet of him because he lives not in Manhattan, but he chose a date location tonight for a spot that's in Manhattan, very conveniently close to me. So it's very nice of him to do that. Like, that does not go unnoticed because he very easily could have chosen somewhere like close to his apartment. And many, many, many a time has that happened to me where I'm like, oh, where do you live? And he's like, across the street. I'm like, how convenient for you. I think that like the first, you know, whoever's proposing the date, whoever's proposing the time and location should consider like where the other person lives. Like, it all should be compromised. Like, obviously, if there's a second date after this one, I would be happy to go to him, you know, or we could meet in the middle. So right now I'm using, to tell you guys products, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer in the shade 4.5 or 4.5 Fair. And my Beauty Blender. I am using two different tinted moisturizers mixed together, and these, you guys have definitely seen me talk about these before. The Saie Slip Tint. I have the 3 and the 4, and I'm aware that there's a 3.5, but I wasn't able to get it. So what I do is I just mix these together, and I'll put more 4, like the darker shade, if I have a spray tan, than 3, or if I don't, I'll put more 3 than 4, you know. It's just, everything I do is kind of just like an artistic mixture that I have no rhyme or reason or rules for, really. It's just kind of what happens. So I just put it on the back of my hand, and I'm putting it on my face. And do I even have powder? I don't even know. Anyway, so we're going to a bar for the first date, and I've decided a few first date rules for myself, and don't feel like you have to adopt these, because obviously do what you want, but 2 rules that I've decided I am bringing with me into cuffing season, into hot girl fall, is only 2 drinks max. Like, I don't need 2 drinks, but 2 drinks like max on the first date. It's kind of like the rule of 2s. 2 drinks max, 2 hours max. Maybe like give or take 30 minutes for like the hellos, the goodbyes, right? 2 drinks, 2 hours. I know for a fact the place tonight that I'm going to has amazing margaritas. I typically, when the waitress comes over, I wait till the guy orders, or I'll have him order first so I can kind of assess the vibe, because especially for like midweek dates, it's sometimes unclear if we're going for like the beer wine vibe or the cocktail vibe. Like, are we going full on dirty martini over here, or are we doing an IPA? Like, what are we doing? I definitely think when it comes to a first date, like, you don't need to match their energy necessarily. Like, if they want to go for a beer, you don't have to get a beer. You don't even have to get a glass of wine in that case. Like, get whatever makes you happy, but just know yourself, know your limits. Because if the guy's getting a beer, and say a guy can drink like 4 beers in a sitting and like have half a buzz, and you're drinking a cocktail, don't feel like you should drink 4 cocktails to keep up with his 4 beers. You know what I'm saying? I've been there before where I've like tried to keep up, and I'm like, that was a bad idea. It was a very bad idea. But with the 2 drinks, like 2 cocktails, is perfect. It's the perfect buzz. Just for me and my drinking habits, I find that 2 drinks is the perfect buzz. I'm still aware. I'm a little bit looser, so I'm like not as stressed, but I can still carry a thoughtful conversation. And I did a coffee date recently where I didn't drink any alcohol, and I actually really enjoyed it, up until the part that where he ghosted me. That was just not, he definitely threw a curveball with that one, but I did like him. Anyway, so right now I am using Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. I think the mathematical term is probability. Like, the more times you're going out on dates, the more dates you're going on, the higher the probability that one of them will work out. Like, can that be said? Or is that dumb of me and I need to go back to school? Like, I don't know. Going on dates makes you a better communicator, I feel like. And you start to learn who you are, I think, through dates, because dating is essentially, like, going on dates is essentially a job interview. At least the first date. It's kind of, it resembles a fun job interview where you might kiss the person who's interviewing you at the end of the night, at the end of the interview, but you're not sure. And they're not sure if they're gonna do it. You might be meeting your future worst enemy. You might be meeting just a guy that you won't recognize in a year walking down the street past you. But in going through the motions of going on dates and talking about yourself for that long and asking questions, but really doing a lot of talking about yourself. It's very 50-50, I feel like. You have to ask questions, but you are also asked questions. And if it's thrown off balance and someone's talking too much or too much about themselves, like, obviously it's not a great date. Like, if one person is just like yabbing on about themselves, but you are gonna have to talk about yourself. And in doing that, I have found what are my favorite parts of myself. Like, what are those things that I want to have people see? And like, what are the parts of my job that I find really amazing that I want to tell people about, or things that I don't find amazing that I'm hiding and I'm not sharing? Like, all of those things, it really does teach you about yourself. You learn so much about yourself dating, and that's another thing. Like, if you are dreading going on this date, you're dreading getting back on the apps, you're dreading putting yourself back out there after a breakup, just remember how it's all character building. Character development is what I was looking for. Yeah, character building, character development, it's all character development. Like, you are becoming a better main character of your life. Anyway, I'm using this palette. Totally forgot to tell you. I'm using my fingers because I left my makeup brush in the bathroom and I don't feel like going to get it. So I'm using this palette from Natasha Denona. It is the Glam Face palette in light. I'm kind of scared of this blush, but I like this highlight. I just autopiloted my blush as well and like didn't even show you. It's called Blonzer, actually. So it's blush plus bronzer equals Blonzer from BareMinerals, and this is Kiss of Pink. That's the shade, and it's a really beautiful, just like slight pinky blushy shade. I think now I can put my hair down. I'm just going to use my blow dryer brush, and I'm gonna wear, I think, my black Skims dress with like a jacket over top because comfort, and it makes my butt look good. I love this pencil eyeliner from Charlotte Tilbury. It is brown. What is it called? It's called the Classic Eye Powder Pencil in Classic Brown. Classic all around. It's just a pencil. And what I do with this, gotta get closer, I just smudge it. So like I'll, you know, this is pretty typical. This isn't groundbreaking information I'm sharing with you that no one's ever done, but I recently learned about like smudging on my eyeliner in the past like couple of years, and it would have been really game changing for me to know this sooner because I was just always putting on like a thick liquid line every single day. And smudging is just so much, it's so much better because I feel like it lasts longer on your lid. Like, it won't get messed up as easily, and it just looks super soft and sexy. So I always just use the liner, the pencil liner, and I'll line halfway or like a little over halfway, and just like a thick line of pencil, and then I smudge it with my ring finger and kind of fan it out, and it looks really nice. So I know you're far away, but just trust me, you know what I'm doing. I think my biggest pro tip when it comes to what to wear on a date, always wear something that you're comfortable in, obviously. Like something that you will feel comfortable in when you're sitting, when you're standing, like in all seated positions. If you're sitting on a bar stool, if you're sitting on a bench or like at a chair, like make sure you're comfortable sitting in said outfit. Like I practice sitting on my couch in my outfit to make sure I'm comfortable, because if I'm uncomfortable, like that's all I'm gonna think about the whole date. But also temperature wise, like even though it's about to be cold and in most parts of the world and like winter, like make sure you still consider the fact that it could be hot where you're sitting. Like you could be sitting by a fireplace or in like a hot stuffy bar. So I always wear layers, like huge layer girl. I'll wear my tank Skims dress and a jacket over top that I can take off or, you know, keep it on at my seat and it's not like too bulky, something light. Even a flannel would be good depending on where you're going. I'm trying to think if I have any other date tips. I feel like the easiest way to break the ice, or when I'm sitting down, like I'm sitting down at the date, what do I say? Like what's the first thing? I always give them a compliment. And I think I just do that with every person in general, like in life. Like if I'm getting coffee with someone, I feel like I'm always thinking of something to compliment them with, because it just kind of sets the stage for like what kind of person I am, that I pick up on details and that I'm not afraid to say them or like, you know, point them out, I guess. Is that weird? I don't know. I feel like I always just, this isn't something I go in like knowing I have to do it. It's just kind of typically what happens. Like I was just replaying my coffee date I had a couple weeks ago in my mind, and I'm like, what did I say when I sat down? I complimented his sweater. Like that is what I said. So yeah, I think it's, you can't hurt to lead with a compliment. It's like a tango. It's like, you know, you give something, they give something. You give something, they give something. And it's okay if there's a little bit of silence. Like don't freak out. Don't think it's a total lost cause of a date if there's a little bit of silence between chatting. I was, for so long of my life, very afraid of awkward silences, but I've learned that not every silence is an awkward silence. Sometimes you're just gathering your thoughts, and that's okay. And you don't have to be gabbing on the whole time. And if you feel like you're talking a lot, you probably are. I'm just kidding. Not always. But if you feel like you're talking a lot, ask them about their college. Ask them about their frat. And then they'll talk a lot. Just kidding. I can't tell if I'm kidding or not. I don't even know if I'm kidding. Because there's been moments in my dating history where I feel like I've talked a lot, like I've been chatty, and perhaps that's all in my head. Like, who knows? I could just be spouting gibberish right now. I'm not an expert, clearly. I'm single, so, you know, it's all about hiring and firing characters for your plot accordingly. If they deserve to be fired, fire them. Let them down easy if they deserve to be let down easy. But don't give them a severance package. Anyway, I'm running with this analogy. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna line my upper tight line. Is that what it's called? Like my upper lash line, like on the bottom. I am going to curl my lashes and put on my new favorite mascara that has been very life-changing for me. And then we're gonna get dressed. And I actually have no idea what time it is, so I could be late. But probably not. If you're still watching, I'd like to know your take on something. I was having a debate the other day with my friends over this. So the guy that I'm going on a date with tonight texted me this morning to confirm. He confirmed time, place, like, are we still on? Got a verbal, yes, we're still on from me. If we had set the plan, time, place, date, time, place. Yeah, we had already set this in stone like 3 days ago. Say we had just done that and he didn't text me today to confirm at all. What would you do in that scenario? Would you text him to confirm? Say that like the last text was you. You had said, yes, let's do it. Like he had said, let's go to this bar at this time. And you said, yes, let's do it. Would you then double text and say, hey, are we still on for tonight? Would you just show up? So that's option A. Option B, would you just show up without texting? Show up to the place at the time that you had discussed? Or C, third answer, would you not show up at all and just ghost? Because clearly it may or may not be happening. Clearly he has no interest. What would you do in that scenario? Because my friends were all divided on it. Obviously it's good manners to, if you set the date, to confirm the day of. If he had set the date, like had decided on the location and the time, he should text and be like, so are we still on? It would definitely be a red flag, not a deal breaker. But in that instance, I think that just me and my personality, I would just text him and say, hey, are we still on? I wouldn't be happy to not have received a text, but I would definitely, like, I'm a planner, I need to know these things, and I need to know, like, I'm not just gonna show up, I don't think. Like, I feel like I would rather get a good, firm answer, even though it meant double texting, than potentially be stood up and have to endure that. I don't know. You guys let me know what you would do in that scenario, because I'm genuinely curious. I completely forgot to share the name of this mascara, also Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes mascara, and I really like it. It really separates and lengthens super well, and it's very black, and I just like it. I don't know. I'm like, do I like it, or is it just fresh and new? And I've been using some mascaras for way too long that need to be thrown away, and I just got this new one, and now I'm like, wow, I'm a new woman. Like, do I love it, or is it just a fresh tube, you know? Do you ever experience that? You're like, ooh, like, is this my favorite mascara, or is it just fresh and all of my other ones are crusty? I don't know. Riddle me this. Okay, I think I'm all set on the face, the eyes. Now I need to do lips. First, I'm actually going to, I don't do anything to my brows anymore. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to have the shape that I have, because I just end up brushing them and they look good, I think. I just don't really want to put on a ton of product right now. So I just spoolie them. And then last, I'm going to do my lip combo, which I actually have in my purse. So this is my go-to lip combo of the moment. I keep it in my purse at all times. Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lip Cheat, like lip liner. Makes your lips look big and full, like you've gotten filler, but you haven't. And the matching Pillow Talk gloss. It's I don't know what kind of gloss this is. It just says Pillow Talk on it. So I use these together and they're nice and small and fit in every single purse that I have. I'm turning into a Charlotte Tilbury girl. I'm becoming Charlotte pretty much. Anyway, so I'm going to line my lips and then put on this gloss, and throughout the night, I'll just touch up my gloss if I need to, but honestly, I always forget. Like, I really truly need to remember. Like, I wish there was a part of my brain that like really remembered to reapply lip gloss. I really forget. Luckily, this is super lasting, so it doesn't even matter if I don't reapply. Okay, lips lined. And now, I feel like you like can't see anything I'm doing in this whole video, but you kind of know what I'm doing. You know, you've seen enough tutorials, you know. I'm not doing anything like life-changing, revolutionary. Now I will be glossing. Wow, the sun is really coming in nicely, isn't it? Golden hour. Golden hour. Going back to what I said, I feel like 2 hours with this person might not tell you whether or not this is your person for life. Like, this is your husband, this is your wife, this is, you know, your end all be all. But I do think that 2 hours with a person, it does tell you whether or not they're the kind of person you want to see again. Like, either the kind of person or do you want to see that person again? Like, you will know whether or not you want to see them again in 2 hours. Like, you get a vibe, you get a feeling. When I was a little bit less secure with myself, like I wouldn't say I'm like perfect now, I'm definitely far less insecure than I used to be, but when I was really, really, really insecure and had just moved here, a lot of my energy on my first dates were focused towards making them like me. Like, I put so much energy into like, let me say all the right things and everything great about myself so this person will like me. Like, I want this person to fall in love with me. It wasn't that I didn't care, it's all of my energy was focused towards that, so I didn't even have any energy left to expend towards considering whether or not I liked them. Because you do have to pay attention, you do have to study their face, you do have to really listen to what they're saying in order to realize whether or not you want to see them again and if you like them or not. Like, you have to pay attention, and if you're so focused on saying everything right and making sure that they like you and sitting in the perfect way and making sure your lip gloss is on point, like if you're focused so much on what they think of you, it gives you less energy in your supply to dedicate towards figuring out whether or not you like them and want to see them again. I regret that. Like, that is one of my regrets from dating early on. Like, I felt like I was just so focused on making sure they liked me, I would walk home and not even know. Like, I would be like, wait, do I like them? I don't even know. Like, did I even enjoy that? Did I have fun? Did I learn anything about this person? Or was I just so focused on making sure they liked me because I was so deathly afraid of getting rejected? Like, I'd rather just not know if I like this person than be rejected. And now I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna be me, tell you who I am. If you reject me, that's your loss, I guess. But also my gain, because I'm not stuck with someone who doesn't appreciate this. So guys, that was my get ready with me for a first date video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I really hope that I can edit this pretty quick tomorrow, because I want to try to stick to having an upload every single week on this channel. Like, I'm really hoping I can be consistent with it, because nothing brings me more joy than consistency and making videos for you guys and seeing how it really brightens your week. So anyway, fingers crossed that I'll be able to keep up with it. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment down below if you guys like this sort of thing. Maybe I'll do some more getting ready with me videos, and wish me luck on my date, though when you see this I'll have already gone, but still wish me luck in this season of my life, which is challenging but also very rewarding because it teaches me so much about myself. That is why we do it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. The reason why we are even looking for a partner is for growth, because we want growth, we want to get better, we want to improve. And though we are enough just as we are, it's always nice to have a partner in crime, and that is what I want. That is what I want. Anyway, that's it for my video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys all next week. Let's manifest it. I will talk to you guys all next week. TTFN, ta-ta for now.